Okay.
Yep, okay, cool. Looks like it's working. Let's make a start. Over to you, Apex.
Awesome. All right. Anyway, so I'm gonna start with thank you for agreeing for to do this. What? This is their second Q&A of this year.
Yeah,
All
yeah.
right.
I think we were trying
And
to do it every month, but I think we missed a couple and it's been busy. But we'll try and make it a monthly thing going forward.
okay. All
Great.
right. Sounds good.
I'd
So
like,
to start it off.
yep, yep, I'll go.
All right. So to start it off, the one major question I think most players would like to know is when will Pixel Starships be finally released? When will it hit 1.0?
Yeah, we've had a chat in the office just earlier this week. Um, we want to make the Steam early access release into a full release pretty soon. I think that's going to be in the next month or so. Um, but getting the version to one, I think we're going to still keep version 0.99x for probably about 6 more months or so. We've got a bunch of features we want to put in, like level 13 ships, and we don't want to rush it through. There's a couple of gameplay features as well we're adding. So we want to make version 1 seem like a significant step up in quality. And recently we've had some sync issues and just server stability issues that we haven't yet fully addressed. We want to get all of those done before we hit that version 1.0 release.
Okay. And you mentioned ship level 13. When do you expect that to be out?
Yeah, definitely. Some stage this year is the plan. There's a new game mechanic coming with ship level 13. It's quite a complicated one to balance. When we did level 12, this was what 2 years ago. Um, we had the super weapons, and I think that's mostly well received. Um, but there's been complaints about balance for 6 months since we launched it. We just don't want to make that mistake again. We want to make sure the balance is done right and the layout is everyone's happy with the layout. I mean, at level 12 ship, there's like 30 different ship designs or something. Um, so it's going to be a little bit time consuming to create those ships and then also to balance all those ships.
All right.
Mm.
And you mentioned a new game mechanic. Can you fill us in on like what it will possibly be?
Yeah, it's not finalized, but there's going to be a new room mechanic in the level 13 ships, and what that room does, it affects other rooms that's surrounding it. So it opens up for a number of combination options. Um, yeah, I guess you can think of this mechanic like a power up mechanic. So depending on how
Oh,
you set up your ship, um, we've got different type of effects, and yeah, I think that's going to make the gameplay quite varied at level 13 compared to level 12.
okay. I think Vincent kind of mentioned that as a possibility,
Yeah.
but I never knew it was something that was like a real possibility. Like it'll be like a room that like boosts rooms that are connected to it adjacently or something like that.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I think in addition to that, we might do one other mechanic as well, but still having a look.
Okay. And let's see. So, are there going to be any new chat filters to combat spam, swear words, or and third-party bugs ads, especially for the Chinese server or Chinese chat, I should say?
Yeah, no, great question. So we've launched pre-launched an official China server about a month ago, and I think the official launch is coming up in about 2 or 3 weeks. There's already a huge number of players in that server as well. I think it's about you know almost half the activity of the US rest of world server in the pre-launch. Um, so the same some of the similar issues like the chat abuse, the bot farming type of mechanic is a little bit more prevalent on that server, and we're in the process of adding some additional um, like game security and monitoring systems into that build to see if we can get like completely get rid of any type of hacking or farming activity there.
Okay.
Yeah, I think little bit technical. There's two technical providers we're working with to address that. We also been doing internally. We've been monitoring um, for bugs trades and been banning them pretty proactively in the last few months. So we continue to do that, but some automated solutions as well. So it makes it easier to identify people who are breaking the fair play policy.
Okay. And then going off of the whole fair play and banning and cheating, are you satisfied with the progress Savvy has made when it comes to identifying cheaters, botters, or third-party bugs abusers, and then following up with banning them as well?
Yeah, I mean, we never satisfied. It's the same problem in every other game. At the moment, there is going to be
You are kind
some
of,
bad actors there. But yeah, we are proactive in looking this up, and we've banned many
hold on one
accounts.
second. Can you repeat that first part because you kind of disconnected. Can you repeat that one
Oh,
more time?
okay, yeah, sure. Yeah, so I mean, we're never satisfied with the result until 100% of these botters are found and banned. But we have been very proactive in the last six
Mm,
months. Yeah, there's been many rounds of bans, and yeah, I mean the player who are banned, they keep messaging us to ask us to unban them, and we haven't. So um, once we do find who these bot abusers and people who broken the fair play policy, we usually give a warning. But if it happens again, then we're pretty strict on what we do.
okay. All right. And then another hot topic that has been discussed at length is legendary PvP.
Mhm.
Um, some are not quite, some like it, some don't like it. How do you feel about the current state of it?
Yeah, I think legendary PvP is probably something uh, Kildare will have has been in more discussions with. I think we wanted him to be in this chat as well, but he's a bit camera shy, so um, we will maybe we might set up another Q&A and have him join and not have his face show. So
Okay.
yeah, but I mean, Hai is also in the audience. Unfortunately, yeah, Toma was going to join today as well, but he had something on this morning. Um, so I think the next Q&A we can ask Vincent and yeah Toma out there.
Okay. All right. And then what about possible tourney changes? Maybe possible redistribution of tourney rewards. Is that any is that possible in the future, or are there any tweaks that you are looking forward to implement in tourney as well to make it more attractive to more player activity?
Yeah, I think we've received a number of suggestions. I think the tournament itself is working fairly well overall. There can always be optimizations on the rewards, for example. And yeah, we've tried to rebalance this between the divisions, so there's no need to deliberately drop divisions. Um, and yeah, I think with the tourney, uh, we can have a chat with Kildare and Thomas as well in the next Q&A. That's yeah probably something better we discuss as a group. Yeah.
Okay. And then the next one is well, actually has been complained to, or a lot of players in the community have complained about this a lot, and it's mostly the gray perk. When are we going to get a rebalance or a fix to its perk? Because currently, right now, it's ridiculously uh, OP. It's one of the strong. It is the strongest perk in all the collections. So the question is, when is that going to get a look at and fix?
Okay, I'll make a note of that one. I didn't realize how OP or
Yeah,
how badly that's perceived. So we'll have a look into that one. Yeah, we I mean we
yeah,
do a rebalance every quarter. So um, whether that's the crew the with the crew stats and the prestige and any gameplay tweaks. So every 3 months we try to have something out there. Yeah, they might not be major, but if something is not balanced right, we'll have a look at it. And the same thing we do for like the super weapons and just having a look which crews are utilized more in the late game, and that's what we use to gauge if something is OP or not.
mm,
So I think yeah,
okay,
in this case, what we will do is look at you know how many people are using the gray perk collection, and if it's unusually high distribution and the win rate is unusually high, then it's something we can do for sure.
okay. I think one of the I forgot who it was. I think it was Zero. He pulled some. What was it? The crew. How much? How many? The number of crew the top 100 ships use, and I think it was about what 20% or 20 to 25%, or is it 20 to 30 at least, use
Wow.
archons, the conjoined archon, the great perk.
Oh, yeah.
So it's a
Yes.
pretty big, not really big, but it's pretty good chunk of the crew population. Um,
And yeah,
speaking of the
and of course, Archon itself is yeah, there's it's a little bit has been underpowered and overpowered as well. So we
yeah,
yeah, it's a bit of a special character.
yeah, it is. Um, but as long as you have that on your to-do list, I think the player base will be really happy with that.
Awesome.
Um, and then, and then speaking of Archon, you're also going to be looking into crew rebalance or rebalancing of that crew, right?
Yeah, yeah, that's been on the. I mean, I think we have rebalanced it a few times already in the past, but this was a while ago. We haven't done any rebalancing recently. Yeah, we can put that on the to do list.
Okay. And then also to expand a bit more on the crew part, what about the rebalancing of epic crews and hero crews? Because you focused on legendary crews the last time you did rebalancing,
Hmm.
but you didn't really touch up on the epic and hero crews. There are certain epic crews that are just like ridiculously good, like Apex, Mistable, Huge. What else? I can't think of the other ones,
Yeah,
but a lot of a good 90% of the epic crews are not that good
yeah,
versus the small 10%.
yeah. I think
So are you
it's
gonna
it
balance them
was
or
it,
rebalance them, I should say?
it was more important we do the rebalance from the higher tiers. I think that's at the top end game, it's more competitive, and every stat makes a difference. Um, and
Mm,
most ships would be using a blend of hero and legendary crews at the top tier. So I think the last rebalance
okay.
was quite well received. Um, yeah, but I think we can go down that list and move down to hero and epic tier. Yeah.
Okay. And then also another one that has been brought up before, but recently it hasn't been brought up. Crafting.
Hmm.
Um, I know Toma kind of touched up on it last year.
Yeah.
Did you disconnect? Shoot, I think you disconnected. Oh, you're
Oh.
still here. Okay, cool.
Uh, yeah.
You
Sorry.
keep on disconnecting, or
The connection's not terribly good today.
okay. But as I was saying, Toma has he's updated them some months ago, but it
Hmm.
was partial and it wasn't quite complete.
Hmm.
So the question is, will Savvy be resuming the updating of crafting trees?
Yeah. The that falls part into the balance, the game balance, and that's continuous. It's There's a lot of issues with the crafting recipe. Like some of them um, are just way too cheap, and some doesn't make sense. It's so expensive that nobody would craft something like that. That's been on the radar for quite some time, and yeah, whenever
Okay,
we have the time to look at that, we do. It's just the in terms of priority list. We are trying to spend the time on the most important things first. Yeah, yeah. So I think um, with the item rebalance that is on the radar.
okay, awesome. And also Spice Trader. So are there going to be any plans for a Spice Trader inventory rotation? So far, uh, quite a few players have complained that some of the items either are too expensive or
Hmm.
they're not enough variety, or it's like it's missing something. It's like there could be consumables or something in there as well. There's not just high priority, important enough items for them to get. So
Yeah.
is that something Savvy is probably looking into changing or updating or having some sort of active rotation or set rotation for certain things that appear?
Okay, that's really good feedback. We also knew about that, and we knew that was additional content with the Galaxy traders were going to be important down the track. But now, yeah, now that that's come up as a priority item, we'll put some effort into that.
Okay. And another one that has recently come up was donation, crew donation. So with legendary PvP being punishing, not really my word for it, but what I've gotten from other players, with losing being high stakes, three crew have a huge impact. So are there any plans to address the donation time limit or boost donations in any way?
Yeah, I have seen this. This had come up as a pretty recent uh, suggestion, and I have seen that in chat and whatnot. Um, yeah, we haven't had a chance to discuss this yet. To be honest, we previously we have I looked at the idea of extending or selecting time duration for the crew donations, but it's probably as good of a quality of life feature that is. It also makes the early game a little bit unnecessarily complicated. So we haven't changed anything there yet. If there's specific, I guess, suggestions, I know some's been posted already, but if there's any good specific suggestions, we can have a look at that.
Okay. All right. And then also, I think that's about it for my questions. If anyone is watching, have any other questions, you can go ahead and ask. Until then, are there any other updates for the rest of the year? Anything uh, concerning the main Pixel Starships game. Any updates you want to share with the player base?
Yeah, I think a few of them we've posted in blogs. The one that's coming up is the game is available on Steam Deck as well for anyone who have a Steam Deck, and we will be releasing official Steam Deck like version one build. Well, not version one, but official release. Um, that's pretty soon in the next month or so. Um, and then the work is going to be on the version one build for later this year. That encompasses, uh, in addition to level 13 ships and the additional content, we're also working on UGC, so user generated content portal for Pixel Starships. I know we've got a lot of fan art and so we'll have an official channel to upload fan art and skins into the game, and there'll be a voting system for people to upvote and downvote skins, and the most popular ones would make it into the actual game. So I think that's a pretty exciting feature as well. Um, and there's a couple of other features we probably can't talk about yet. So um, yeah, there's quite a big pipeline, I guess, of stuff coming.
Okay.
Yeah.
And another question that was just posted here by Starjaw.
Mhm. Oh no, have I disconnected or has Apex disconnected? Oh, okay. Haha. Okay. Well, I guess I'll keep going and hopefully he'll join back. So the next question, I can see a couple of comments coming through. Is there any other questions that feel free to post that in the chat? Uh, it's this one. So
Okay. Sorry
is
about that.
Savvy or Pixel Starships are a subsidiary of Tencent? No. um, hey, Apex is back. Awesome. Yeah, sorry, I was just going through the Q&A chat box to see if there's any questions I could answer while you were reconnecting.
Yeah, there was one there about hero rerolls. I think it's on the test server. Is
Mhm.
that gonna ever make it on the live server?
Ooh, rerolls. Good question. We haven't made a decision on that, so I can't comment on that one. Um,
Oh,
yeah, but we'll have a we'll have a chat about that after the Q&A. Yeah.
okay. And then I think I'm gonna butcher your name. But here's a question: what about giving trophy defenses in legendary PvP?
Ah,
I know there's a reason why Kadir doesn't want. He explained, but I'm just gonna ask the question just for the sake of asking it.
Okay. Yeah, I think Kildare would be the best person to answer that one. Let me see if he's actually in the channel today. Uh, yeah, no, he's not in here today, I don't think. Otherwise, we can, yeah, get that response directly from him. But yeah, I think he'll make a effort to join the next one. Hi is in here as well, but sorry, Meet. But I think this one is really on Kildare. Yeah.
Okay, and then there's some more bug related questions. One from Master Baku. Any progress yet fixing ammunition failures to reload ammo properly while grinding PvP?
Yeah, great. I'll pass that one on to Meet. I think we've been working on that for the last week and a half.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then another one going forward, will focusing be on maintaining and or improving stability or adding new content, changing existing content for Pixel Starships, pre-release slash beta. Uh,
Yeah, I think that could tie into our plans for the UGC component as well. So once that's available, we will spend quite a bit of effort in curating the user-generated content, and any popular ones we can either create rooms or they're just
Okay.
skins, and they'll make it into the game. I think that's going to become a bigger part of the core gameplay. So that'll be interesting.
Okay. What are I realized I didn't ask this before. Super weapons. Are you satisfied with where they're at currently?
Oops, sorry, just had an issue with my audio. Sorry, just testing. Can you guys still hear me okay, Apex?
Yeah, I can still hear you. Can you hear me?
Yep, I can. Good from here.
Okay. The question I asked was, are you satisfied with the current status quo or the current state of super weapons are at currently?
Yeah, I think we also went over this in the last Q&A. It's the super weapons. Not everyone's happy with. I mean, initially, not everyone was happy because they didn't realize there was a specific faction-specific weapons early on, and we working to make that more obvious early on in the game. And then the second part is if one of them is overpowered at any stage. I think that's been been a bit of a pendulum. We've done a couple of balances. I think currently it's still relatively fair between the factions. But yeah, if there is if that again becomes a major balance point, we can review the stats. We haven't done a review since the last Q&A though.
Okay. Okay. So until that review occurs, you're not going to be considering what a lot of players are requesting, a change in faction or a platform for super weapons. Are you gonna, is that kind of like out of the question?
Yeah, I think we've debated that a lot. I think that's out of the question at this stage. We wanted different type of strategies for different factions, so that the goal was not to have every ship capable of the same strategy. That's part of the design. So we're just going to make probably even more so faction specific things in the future. So I think that would keep the game harder but more interesting. Is what we want.
Okay.
I mean, there's only 3 factions, so there's it's not like it's impossible to do something, because you can play a different faction quite easily. Yeah, I mean, our account management system is probably not very well set up for that, but yeah, it's something that's quite achievable.
Okay. And then are you also planning on changing how the tutorial works, or at least making it skippable, or any change, or just plan on just changing it to be more player friendly?
Yeah, we actually have a skip option. We tested that in the past, but whenever we enable the skip option, more players get lost than players that get frustrated. So we had to default it to not making it available, because a lot of new players, I mean, I understand if someone's already played through the tutorial once, it's reasonable to skip through it. But yeah, the current account management system treats a new user as a new user, and if someone hasn't played the game before and they skip the tutorial, it's very difficult to figure out the core game loop.
Okay. And then my last question. So one of the major things that I have issue with currently, or a lot of people too have issue with, is the prestiging, how gatekeeping prestiging from level 10 onwards, because it's it's really hard. Well, when I play on my lower level ship, it's hard to kind of compete effectively if you can't continuously make your own crew, even if it's a much longer process. So, are you planning on making crew availability or crew acquisition from level 4 to level 9 easier, or alleviate it somehow? Because currently, the only way to get an epic crew for those below level 10 is to buy them, or if you're lucky, or yeah, just buy them because the crew draws you require bucks too for the epic crew. So, are there any plans to make it a bit easier to get at least epic crew or hero crew for those who cannot prestige?
Yeah. Okay, that's an interesting feedback. We haven't received. I haven't received feedback that in that specific ship range. That's interesting. We'll have a look at it. Is that because it's hard? You can't prestige those crew up at that ship range?
Yes. It's not just you prestige generally because that'll be the free to play way. Because now for competitive play, even though competitive play is technically reserved for endgame, I get that, but this will open up a new form of competitive play for mid-range that's not only gatekeep for pay to win players, because they're the ones who can get all those epic crew. Not saying that free to play can't, but it just takes extremely a longer period of time than it would for someone who's free to play and above level 10.
Yeah, so we do have a look at the free to play limitations. It's quite, I think it's quite readily available for free to play in the mid game. There hasn't been any complaints like unable to acquire a crew because of the resource requirement is too high. So that's never been an issue. But yeah, the prestiging to a higher level. Okay, we can definitely have a look at if there's some way to address that. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I think that's it for my questions. There's another player question. If you want to answer it, is there another Kickstarter backer or fundraiser in the future?
Yes. So we are planning another Kickstarter round. There is a Pixel Starships 2 in development project as well. So I think middle of the year we'll do a Kickstarter. I don't think the rewards for that Kickstarter will be available for quite some time. So it's really like a Kickstarter project to help with development of Pixel Starships 2. So that's currently as a technical prototype. I think I've put a new trailer as well. Well, not a new trailer, a little bit of a dated trailer, but we'll put a new trailer up on the build progress for Pixel Starships 2 on the Steam page. So you can follow the Pixel Starships 2 Steam page and get any updates there. Yeah, so I think we will be running our third Kickstarter though for that in that time period. So June, July, during the summer break.
Okay, awesome. I think that is it for player questions. I'll give them a few seconds, or anyone a few seconds to type out whatever questions they want to ask.
Cool.
I skipped one.
Yay, looks like we covered everything.
Oh, okay. Oh, no, there's one more. This was a good one.
Okay.
So are there any plans to add prestige recipes in-game rather than forcing players to use external resources to plan their prestiges?
Yeah, that's a really good point. And yeah, I would like to see it in-game as a player. I think prestige was originally designed more as a surprise, something to figure out. but yes, it does get a bit annoying to do that at higher levels. So yeah, we'll have a discussion on if we want to bring that feature into the game. So currently there's a number of web resources to do that. Yeah, but I think it's more like a quality of life, like convenience thing.
Okay. And then there's another question, and it is increasing the security of the client-server communication on to-do lists.
Yes, yep. So I think we mentioned this earlier, especially with the China launch. There is a little bit more, chat abuse and potential hacking activity going on there. So that's high on the priority. Yeah, we've got a couple of technical solutions that we are integrating to help address that.
Okay, awesome. And I think that will be it for this Q&A. Thank you for taking time out of your day and answering these player questions.
Yeah, no, thanks Apex, and really appreciate your time. And I know it's a Friday afternoon for you, and I'm sure you're keen to go out and grab some beers or something before the weekend.
Yeah. Awesome. And thank you all for joining us for this Q&A. Hope you guys have a wonderful weekend, and goodbye.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Bye.